Welcome everyone to ARCS Behind the Driver. This is episode number 12 with special guest Mr. Kevin Gibney Jr. So we'll have him live here in just a moment. Stay tuned, and we'll have episode 12 here of ARCS Behind the Driver.
Welcome to ARCS Behind the Driver podcast.
Welcome everyone back to ARCS Behind the Driver. This is episode number 12. Mr. Kevin Gibney Jr., how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad tonight. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing the best I can. So, appreciate you coming on. I kind of started this podcast, obviously, to kind of just get to know people in the community. and you have been in ARCS, but more on the Madden side of things, not much racing, but hopefully we can change that. But I'll throw it over to you. Just kind of introduce yourself, who you are, and kind of a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into it.
Well, I'm Kevin. I'm from the Boston area. Not really a lot of people on iRacing up here. Not that I've seen, at least. I started my iRacing career, I think 2019. Been doing mostly stock cars, short tracks, three stocks, late models, mostly cup cars now. Not a big road course guy, open wheel car, not really for me. No dirt either, but league wise, I'm mostly known as HTL, as you know. I got my start in it's now known as MSRL, used to be known as KMM. Shout out to Angel Santiago, longtime friend, and brought me into that league. And it's just avalanche into where I am now in ARCS and HTL.
Yeah, so we'll talk about HTL. Obviously, me and Blake have, we're pretty good friends. Both of us from Georgia. He kind of got me. He brought me into HTL the same way that we kind of brought some of the HTL people into ARCS. I kind of consider us almost sister leagues. But tell us about. We'll kind of talk about HTL first. How did you get into HTL and get into that competition with Blake and everyone over there in HTL?
So the first season, my stint was very brief. I was on and off. I was going through a little college depression. So I ran a few races and realized I was way out of my league. Top two contenders that season one, was Dustin Hall and Frankie Bassaro. And I was on and off that season. I mean, I think I did like one or two races. Season two, I actually got banned. Blake can confirm this. I was a little bastard child, so to speak. Season three, I was 3 points shy of the drivers' playoffs. And I would have made it had my cats not messed with my Wi-Fi at Road America. So,
damn
thanks
cats.
to them. Yeah, and season four, which was our last season, I didn't do too good. I had a replacement driver for me, but in the end, my team did was a championship, so I'm happy about that. And season five, we expanded to 8 cars, and I'm looking forward to see what we can do this season coming up here in a few weeks.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm even supposed to say this, but I'm on Blake's team. I ran it on Blake's team last year. Just some life stuff happened, and I wasn't able to really show up much, and I felt bad about that because I know that that charter system is crazy over there in HTL. I mean, it's wild that the money that people pay for the charters. I mean, good for HTL. I mean, that's a huge way to help pay for broadcasting and stuff like that. I mean, this shit's not cheap. As me and Blake know as owners, it's not cheap to broadcast every single week and try and pay out prizes for points and stuff like that. I mean, it's tough. So the charter system is wild. So I really did feel bad. Like he had me a charter and I just wasn't able to show up, unfortunately. But this year I think I'm going to run some select races, fill in for. I know he said he had a driver that needed a fill-in for a few races, so I'm going to make a few appearances on Monday nights. So I'm excited for that. It was a fun series. I mean, I loved it. I really did, and I wasn't good. I was usually back in 25th, 26th, riding around, but it was still fun.
It is a fun series. I wouldn't still be in it or an admin in the tier below national series, kind of like the Bush series. I wouldn't be an admin in that series if I didn't plan on sticking long term. So there's that. I plan on running the whole season. I will not be my usual number 31 though. I'll be in the number one car this season. A little spoiler there, and that's I know shocked myself because I died by that number, but not this season apparently.
Hey, look, I ran last year as the two car, I think, and it's been several years since I have not been in the 12 car. So, but Blake did say he was going to try and get me in the 12 car. It wasn't going to be a charter, so I got to qualify in, which I'm not very good at qualifying. So we'll see how that works, but we'll give it a shot.
Well, on the flip side, we actually expanded the field to 40 cars now.
Oh, so I got
So
so I got a little bit better chance.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of the things that HTL is doing is very similar to what our Cup Series on Sunday night does. So it's cool to see that that comparison between those two leagues. I mean we're both running the next gen cars. We both have 40 car fields. I mean that's it, and we have a lot of people on Sunday night that run on Monday night with HTL and kind of vice versa. So it's like I said, it's really cool to see. Like I said, me and Blake are really good friends, and it's just cool to be able to not be. We try not to step on each other's toes too much. If they're doing something, then we try not to interfere with that, and I feel like we've done a pretty good job. I'm trying to get him on this podcast too. He was scheduled a couple weeks ago, but then he canceled on me, so I'm going to try and get Blake on here pretty soon and heckle him about canceling on me.
I would.
Yeah, I'm going to send him a message right after this one and be like, hey, I need you on this podcast, man. You canceled on me. This is ridiculous. So tell us a little bit about, obviously, a lot of people in ARCS know about HTL, but how did you make the transition or what got you into ARCS? Was it just the Madden franchise that we have, or was there more to it?
So it was originally Steven. He was advertising OST,
Yep.
and I ran 1 week, and that was it. It was a heat race, and I got ran dirty, and I told him about like I just don't have the capacity to being ran dirty on the first race in a heat race with all this. So, but, you know, I look at the series schedule, and the HTL and National Series coming up. They are Friday. Hopefully, we get back into something. So I can just experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Steven has done a lot of recruiting for sure. Him and Jack Mulkey have tried to they have brought a lot of new people in for OST, and then we've been lucky that a lot of those people have branched out to other series and arcs. They've been starting to run TNT, and some of them are running A squared. So it's cool that's always cool. When you have people that bring new people in, and then those people start to run not just that series but other series. I mean, it's hard to get people to race week to week. So that's always cool to see new people coming into the league and not only running one series but branching out and running two or three series. I mean, I know HTL has a lot going on too, with the trucks and the national series and the Cup series and the grassroots series. I mean, they're about just as busy as ARCS is, which is it's cool to see.
Yeah, actually, grassroots is kind of like an off-season thing, but we're actually expanding to a Super Cup night, which is going to be, I believe, Wednesdays, and it's going to be road courses in the GR86, I believe.
Mm.
Yes. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be participating, but it's definitely like an interesting twist because when you think of HTL, you think, oval tracks, stock cars, trucks, nothing else. So this is a nice curveball that all of the admins are throwing in.
Yeah, I hate road courses. I can't stand them. But I mean, it's fun. If you have the right group of people, it's fun. But I road courses can. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I never have been. Never will be. I just can't do it.
I'm just not a fan because I suck at it.
Me too. I'm awful at road. Well, I mean, I'm awful all around, but road courses, it's like extra. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, yeah. No, I don't like road courses at all. So our Madden franchise, we got to talk a little bit about that because that's where I interact with you probably more than anything. We're in the playoffs. I won my first round playoff game against. I was supposed to play Tommy Reynolds, but he wasn't available, so I played the computer. Moved on to the next round, but we got to talk about the Super Bowl last year between me and you. You waxed my ass in that game.
Yeah. Well, I want to put an asterisk on that because you do not have Stetson Bennett.
I did. I was missing my starting quarterback, Stetson Bennett, the fourth, from the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I had no offense at all.
yeah, so I really want to put an asterisk on that. But then we played with both our full teams. Then I still proceeded to wax your ass.
Yeah, it was still bad. Yeah, it was. I'm not very good, but I enjoy it. I enjoy playing. It's fun to play with buddies. I mean, regardless of what game you're playing, whether it's Madden or iRacing. I mean, I just enjoy Madden because it's it gives me something to just kind of. I like football. I've always loved football. Can't wait for the new college football game to come out. It's allegedly coming out in July. We'll see if that actually happens, but yeah, I'm excited for that. But I'm sure if that comes out and it has an online dynasty, oh, look out. There's going to be like 40 people in ARCS trying to join that dynasty.
We'll see. I wasn't really never a big CFB person. College football just never clicked with me. I don't know why, what the difference is. I don't know if it's like a north and south thing, or maybe I just have a big school near me besides BC.
Yeah.
But college football just never clicked with me. But NFL always has. So I really couldn't tell you why.
Well, did you play your Madden game earlier?
I actually didn't. I was busy. So it's probably going to happen after this podcast. If Withers didn't advance it yet, I hope he didn't.
I don't think so. I think there were still a couple people that hadn't played yet. So, who did you play? Who do you have in the first round?
I have a CPU team.
Oh, see, okay. So yeah, you're gonna win by 70.
Yeah, probably.
I don't even know who I have to play in the next round. I just know I made it past the first round, so I'm happy. I won the Super Bowl the first year, but you weren't there. And then the next year I made it to the Super Bowl and you beat me. So I gotta at least get to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. I mean,
I played in the regular season. I played Wizard actually, and he was actually, I think him and Seth are my two toughest opponents I've had so far.
Yeah, they're both very good.
Withers came down to the last field goal, and I made it.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Yeah, Withers has one time I played Withers. It's so crazy because he's the Panthers and I'm the Falcons, so we're in the same division, so we play each other twice a year. And I think it was last year, the first game I beat him by maybe 4. I don't know. I don't remember the score. The second game, He beat me 77-0. So yeah, it went from okay, I beat you to holy shit, you just waxed my fucking ass and beat me by 77 points. I was so pissed off. I was a little intoxicated. I mean, I usually always am, but I was pretty far gone in that game, and yeah, it was not a good outcome.
What'd you do? A shot for every interception you throw?
No, but when me and Brandon Proudfoot play, we did like a exhibition game, like not even in the dynasty or in the franchise. We played a game, and for every turnover, we took a shot. And I think he threw 9 interceptions. I think I threw like 5 interceptions. We had like 4 fumbles. I mean, we were plastered. By the end of that game, we were so drunk. We didn't even know what team we were. We were just, but it was so much fun. I mean, it was like he would throw an interception, and then I literally the very next play I would throw an interception, and we're both like, all right, shot. And then he would throw, all right, shot. And then he'd fumble, shot. And we're like, oh my God, we're going to die. Like,
I'm surprised y'all didn't. Jesus Christ.
I thought I was. I'm not going to lie. But that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But yeah, no, the one time that I lost to Withers by like 77 points, I had been drinking a little bit. I think there was a race before that when I played him. And by the time we started our game, I was like, but before the kickoff even started, I was like, this isn't going to be good. Like, I'm going to lose bad. Like, my wide receivers, I like saw 2 of them, and it was just one guy out there. And I'm like, oh no, this is bad.
Oops. Madden and ARCS is definitely fun. Actually, a couple of leagues outside of ARCS. I'm not as good in those leagues. I don't know what it is. I'm a playoff contender, but I don't think I'm a Super Bowl champ. It's weird.
Yeah.
But
I got lucky because I got Nick Chubb in my fantasy draft, and I just like to run the ball. So that's usually what I do. I just run the ball, you know. It usually works. And then I got Stetson Bennett, and he apparently Madden, it happened in the last game before we switched to 24. When we were doing Madden NFL 23, we did the draft class that they had. So Stetson Bennett was in the draft class. And apparently Madden thinks that Stetson Bennett is just phenomenal because he's like a 96 overall now. I don't know what the hell, but they think Stetson Bennett's great. So as long as Stetson doesn't, drink before the games, he's usually pretty good. But sometimes he does, and he's awful. But that also might be my fault. I don't know.
What was this thing? Does art imitate life, or does life imitate art?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you picked up a new quarterback this year, didn't you?
I did. I had. So when I first started, I didn't do the fantasy draft. I wasn't there for it. When I first started, I had Herbert, and I got rid of him because he downgraded from a superstar to a star. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to pay $10 million to some guy who's a star.
Yeah.
So I traded him for Mac Jones, got him MVP, superstar X Factor, then traded him for Josh Allen.
Yeah, I know. When I played you and I saw Josh Allen, I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. Game over. Like, I would cover everybody, and then Josh Allen would just take off and scramble for 20 yards, and I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, this is bullshit.
Also, doesn't help that I may or may not also have Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that doesn't help either, for sure. All right, so so I guess, have you ever ran other than the OST? Have you ran anything else in ARCS as far as like a racing or anything like that?
I actually haven't, but like I said, I just took a little hiatus from racing altogether. my performance was dropping. I didn't feel too good about it, so I thought maybe like just a couple months off would, I'll be rusty, sure, but just to clear my mental state will get me back in a groove. And I need to get back to officials before I do a league just so I can practice. But hopefully, with this upcoming season of HTL, I can do days I don't race in HTL, do a ARCS race here and there.
Yeah, I feel like ARCS and HTL is very similar. Just the people that race and kind of how we're formatted, and that's why I like, I love running on Monday nights when I can. I can't really commit full time, just because I have so much going on in ARCS. So, I kind of have to be careful with what I run in other leagues, just because I have my own league that I have to run. So it's tough sometimes. I mean, I do enjoy, going out and running against different people, so on Monday nights it was always cool to see a whole, yeah, there might have been, 5 or 6 people that I knew, but the rest of the field, I had never raced with them, they had never raced with me. So it's always cool to race with new people. It makes me faster to watch, other people race and faster people race. So, I always enjoy running with new people. Some people are better than others, but, it's fun to run against new people sometimes.
It is, and speaking of like being the faster part, I have great teammates over in HTL that I couldn't thank more for helping me like improve on different tracks, especially Darlington. Darlington was my Achilles heel. I could never figure out that track. And Josh Susi, shout out to him, HTL champion this year, my teammate. And he showed me kind of the ropes of the track. And it is a night and day difference once he showed me that, am I fast? No, but I'm able to, how do I put this? Do the race more. I'm not, crashing lap 1 into the first turn. I can actually be there for the long run.
Yeah, that's a lot of people struggle with that. I mean, there's a lot of people that are very fast, but they get in an incident or they, push the car too hard and then, they wreck it and then they finish 35th, and that's something that I've always been good at as well, is just being consistent. Yeah, I'm not fast, especially with some of the people that we race against in HTL and ARCS. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I can name several people, that just are so fast. It's insane. Like it's just, I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I have a job. I work 60 hours a week. I run ARCS. I don't have a whole lot of time to practice. So most of the time I just show up to a race and, hope for the best. I'll practice, during the practice session in a session, but I just don't have the time to practice like some of these people are probably practicing. And, I'd love to spend, 20 hours practicing for a race, but I just, and most people can't. We all have lives. We all have, personal things going on, and you can't commit to that. So I'm one of those that shows up, hopes for the best, and hell, if I finish 20th, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's kind of my deal is too. I just show up on race day and that practice session is my practice. And I think that's the best time to practice because that's the closest to race conditions you're ever going to get to.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
That's just my opinion on it.
No, I agree completely. I mean, I ran in Thursday Night Thunder last night for ARCS with TNT. We were at New Atlanta, and when it comes to super speedways, that's where I get excited because I'm pretty good at super speedways. That's probably the only thing that I'm good at. Like all other tracks, road courses, hell no. Mile and a half, okay, maybe. But super speedways, I have that knack of just knowing where to go, knowing where to be, staying out of trouble. I ended up finishing 4th last night, but Sunday for A Squared, we're going to Talladega, and I've already told people I'm gonna either wreck, I'm gonna bring home the steering wheel, or I'm gonna bring home the checkered flag. There's no in between on Sunday night, so everybody better watch out for the 12 car.
I'm with you on that. I love super speedway racing. I think I have an knack for that too. It's just I don't know. I don't know if I just have more patience than other people when it comes to super or plate racing in general, which is I think is a virtue, especially at those tracks. You're not going to win on lap 1. You're not going to win on lap 20. You're going to win on the last lap. If you're in the right spot, stay third on the last lap. That's where you're going to make your move. You're not going to make it on lap 1.
Absolutely. No, yeah. I mean, and some people think that they want to go out there and lead the race or win on lap 10, and it's not going to happen. I mean, it's super speedways are definitely a patience race, and some people understand that, some people don't. I mean, I think every league has had those super speedway races where people just are balls to the wall on lap 10, and it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, we're battling we're 4 wide for 15th. Like, what? What? Why are you doing this? But that's just how some people are, unfortunately. And
I recall our DHGL Daytona duels for season 4. I was in duel 2, and it was like lap 4 out of I think 25, maybe. I forget how long they were. And already someone's like bump drafting me out of the way and forcing it 3 wide. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So you bet your ass the next lap when I got to their bumper, I did the same thing and got them the fuck out of the way.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. I race people how they race me. Everybody in ARCS knows that. There's been a couple people that have been on my bad side, and it's not a good place to be. But if you race me clean and you race me with respect, I'm going to do the same. But if you race me like an asshole, you best damn believe I'm going to race you like an asshole too. And I feel like that's a lot of people on iRacing. I mean, if you run somebody hard and clean, okay. But if you're using somebody up, you're using them as a brake, yeah, that's not going to fly.
No, and I think that's the way it should be. I mean, I think NASCAR in general, or at least maybe not now, it used to be like one of the most self-policing sports out there. Maybe baseball too. Once in a while, you get a hit on a notorious player. 95 mile an hour fastball. But NASCAR, maybe, like I said, maybe not now, but definitely a few years ago, it used to be one of the most self-policing sports ever, and that's what I appreciate about it. Last week you turned me, intentionally or not. This week I'm going to do the same to you. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, and it's hard to, I mean, with league racing, obviously it's different than NASCAR because we don't have to pay the bills of a wrecked race car. We don't have to, we're not looking for sponsorship for our cars, I mean, but at the same token, the admins of all these leagues and the owners of these leagues, you can't have people just wrecking each other because then that's going to scare away, people that are like, what the hell? I don't want to race this shit. Like, you got people wrecking each other and they just get away with it, So why do I want to race here if everybody's just wrecking each other? I mean, that's where it's kind of different from NASCAR. It's like, well, yeah, we're trying to follow NASCAR's because we do that in ARCS with A Squared. I mean, we pretty much follow NASCAR rules to a T, but we're racing virtual race cars. So if you wreck somebody or you put it into the wall, yeah, you're going to get a bad points day, but you're not paying millions of dollars like these real NASCAR teams are.
Right.
So it's like you got to have some kind of penalty system. But then when you have a penalty system, people are like, "Oh, we don't like that," and it's like, "Well, what do you want us to do?"
Right. No, we have that in HDL too. We have a penalty system, and we also have a board of reviewers that like you were misjudging correctly, right? You know, we have, hey, I want to appeal this. Here's my proof of why you judged me incorrectly. A board of 7 randomly picked people for that week will judge that scenario, be like, okay, yeah, lessen the penalty or get rid of it, or B, no, you fucked up, own up to it.
Yeah, and that's a really cool thing that HCL does. So we've kind of tried to do that in ARCS. We never really got it going, but that's a really cool thing. I like that. You know, that's why I like to talk to you, to Blake. I know you're an admin in HTL. I like to talk to Blake. I mean, the more owners and admins of other leagues that I can talk to, the more ideas that I get of like, hey, that's, I mean, because HTL has had on Monday nights has had some shit races, just like A Squared on Sunday night has had some shit races, and if we can all communicate, even different leagues, communicate and say, hey, here's what worked really well for us, or here's what didn't work for us and it was a nightmare, we can kind of help each other make both leagues better by, talking and kind of figuring out, hey, what works for y'all, what doesn't work for y'all, here's what works for us. And that's something that's kind of cool to me, is that, we have that kind of open communication.
Yeah, there's going to be a very contrarian opinion. We actually use incident point limits like in officials. This varies by track and whatnot, but that actually cleaned up our racing so much in HTL. It's night and day difference. It's actually insane. And it's as much as I want to hate it, because if you get DQ'd of nothing that's your fault, this sucks. But like for the longevity of HTL, that's going to be the better option, and it does clean up races.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, and everybody has their own way. We, for A Squared, we have we basically review every caution or every at-fault incident, and we pretty much give everybody 5 freebies, so to speak. But then after those 5, you get a 5-point penalty for every caution that you cause. So, we kind of do the same thing, but not through iRacing. We do it through review, which I'm telling you sometimes sucks, because our races start at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. They're usually over by, if we're lucky, 9:30. If it's a caution-filled race, it's 10:30. And then me and all my admins for A Squared have to stay up till damn near fucking midnight, reviewing all the cautions, depending on the race. If there's not a whole lot of cautions, it's pretty quick, but if there's a bunch of cautions, we have to look through every single one of them, and that shit's tough. It's not fun, especially when you have to, I got to get up and go to work the next morning at 5 a.m. It's like, Jesus, why am I doing this shit? Like, this is stupid. Like,
I only had to review one race once as a admin, and that was for Darlington in the National Series. And what we did, we just picked a day. We race on Friday night. We start fairly late too. So I think the flag dropped at like 9:30. And since I work every other Saturday, like I work tomorrow, it could be rough. So we usually don't review. If it's a bad race, we have like a ticketing system. You can make a report, which is nice.
Yeah.
But say it's like a really bad race like Darlington was, we'll review it, and we just picked a day that all the admins had off, or most of us, reviewed the race, and that's how we usually go about it. We usually just pick a day. We don't do it after the race because, everyone's going to be tired. And in case we miss something, we want to be more alert.
Yeah. No, that makes sense for sure. I mean, we do the same thing. We have an appeal process, so we post the penalties the night of the race, and then anybody that gets a penalty can appeal, and then we basically they send in their information of hey, same thing as HTL. They say, hey, I don't agree with this. Here's my, they'll send a video clip or a picture or whatever and be like, here's what I saw. I don't feel like that should be a penalty. And then it goes to, me and my admins, and we have to review it. And, we have to make that decision on, do we keep that penalty, or do we, take that penalty away, or, downgrade it instead of, a race suspension is maybe it's just 10 points or whatever. But it's tough because as an admin or as an owner, no matter what you decide, whatever call you make, it's never right. Ever. Like it's
I felt
yeah, like you can make the most perfect, non-biased call, and somebody's going to be like, nah, that's bullshit. Y'all are favoriting this guy, or y'all are, it's just wild that people get so bent out of shape about a fake, racing simulation.
it is, and no, I get where you're coming from, and I can recall a few instances where I felt like this call was just and it was unbiased, and I still somehow got flack for it. I don't know why, but I did.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I know that any, like you admin a series, so I know you understand, but anybody that has never adminned a series or owned a series or a league, it is not easy. I mean, we're out here. We all have jobs. We all have lives. We all have personal stuff going on. We're putting these races on for y'all for y'all's entertainment, for y'all's fun, and then to be, bitched at or complained to about how, oh, well, that person shouldn't have got this or that person should have got that. It is exhausting sometimes, at least for me, to just be like, just shut the fuck up and just go to next week. Like,
yeah, it's like the biggest thing is the first question is, does it affect you? No. Okay, move on. Or if it does affect you, in what way does it affect you? And can we justify either, appealing your penalty or, talking and being like, hey, this is why you got this penalty.
yeah.
Or, some other disciplinary action.
Yeah, drivers are very, very quick to complain, but I have been in the situation where I was like, hey, do you want to come help us admin? And they'll be like, oh, no, no. It's like, all right, well, then shut the fuck up. Like, we have a system. We're using that system. If you don't like it, then maybe you shouldn't drive like a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's just what you deal with. So, all right, well, let's get a little bit into knowing you. Obviously, all of us are race fans. What kind of got you into racing as a fan, of NASCAR? And then, obviously we all race, iRacing, but who or what was the thing that got you into NASCAR and into, watching NASCAR?
It was definitely my dad. My dad was a big Earnhardt fan, and I was 2 years old, or just about to be 2, when he passed. So when Harvick jumped on the scene, he became a Harvick fan, and the rest is history. I followed Harvick throughout his career. I actually went to Phoenix last year to watch his final race. But in short, my dad got me into NASCAR. Been a Harvick fan my entire life. Um, I went to a few races. Like I said, I went to Phoenix last year. That was awesome. I actually had pit passes too. Um, I've been to New Hampshire. New Hampshire Motor Speedway is about an hour and a half from me. So, not the best track to go to, but it's something. Where else have I been? I'm going to 600 this year.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm actually driving from Boston Friday night, driving back Monday. Trying to think where else I've been. I feel like I'm missing a few places. But no, I mean, racing for me, just watching it and, people get, I know people say, oh, it's only a circle. Well, we see people, across the pond, or people who don't like NASCAR, oh, you're just going left, for 3 hours. I don't think they know the metrics and the science, the mathematics behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Tire wear, fuel, mileage, etc. And just that alone, to be in practically a metal coffin going 200 miles an hour for 3 hours with a slim chance of winning a race, that just excites me.
Yeah, no, I've taken so my girlfriend that I live with now, Kinsey, which you never raced with her. She used to race with us when we were back in the Xbox days on Heat 5. Which did you ever do any racing, any league racing on Heat 4, Heat 5?
No, thank God I haven't.
I don't blame you. So you started on iRacing. Was that your first?
Well, I mean, I had I had NASCAR Thunder 2004. I had NASCAR all the way up to God knows what. But I never done online racing, so to speak, until iRacing.
So what got you into iRacing? What?
Actually, my college roommates.
Okay.
So I went to UNOH. If you don't know them, it's a college in Lima, Ohio, and they have a specialty program in automotive high performance, which I graduated from in 2020 with my associate's degree. They have a motorsports program, and two of my college roommates, PJ Childs and Max Hanley, both iRace, both race in real life too, right now. They got me into it. I borrowed Max's rig for a bit. And I think about maybe a few months later, I bought my G27 off some dude in a Lowe's parking lot for $150. Bought iRacing for the first time, and that was it.
Hell yeah! Is that still what you use now, or what are you using now as a wheel and?
I'm still using my G27.
Hell yeah!
I've been using that for the last 5 years, I guess.
Damn. Yeah, I always love to just ask people because some people I know what they use, but it's just cool to kind of see what everybody uses as wheel and pedals. I thought because I started, obviously, like I said, my background, ARCS started on NASCAR Heat 4 and Heat 5, and I was on a controller for the first couple months, and then went to Walmart, got one of those Ferrari wheels. It's like $57 at Walmart, and it was awful. I hated it. I was like, I just wasted $57. This is the worst thing I've ever bought in my life. And then, but I still used it. Then I got a Logitech G923, and I had that for the longest time. And then I was like, you know what? I want to really be serious about this. So I bought a Fanatec Direct Drive DD2, and I was thinking like, oh yeah, this will make me so good. I'll be so fast. And I'm like, I still suck. Like this is stupid. Like what the hell? I spent $2,000 on a fucking steering wheel and I still suck. So it's just cool to see. Like I've talked to some people that are just so fucking fast, and I'll be like, what wheel do you have? What pedal? Oh, I use the Logitech, G920. And I'm like, how are you that fast with that? Like, it's just, and even like, I don't know if you know Noah Belleville, but he races on a controller, and he whoops my ass every Thursday in TNT. This dude's out there whooping my ass on a controller on iRacing, and I'm like, man, I suck.
That's actually why I heard the name Noah Belleville, but to kick ass on a controller is absolutely fathoming to me. That's wild. Jesus Christ, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, he has been on a controller. Even when he raced with us on Xbox, he was on a controller, which on Xbox with NASCAR Heat, I could see controller, okay. I get it. It's a console game. They have it programmed to, controllers. But iRacing, come on. And he's still, that kid is bad fast on a controller to this day. And we've even tried, Seth and a couple other people have had, they would upgrade their wheel so that they had their old wheel that they weren't using. We tried to give him a wheel, and he was like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna keep using the controller. I'm like, I don't blame you. If you're that fast on a controller, why change?
It ain't broke, I'll fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Why change if you don't? Hell, if you're winning races, keep running controller. But do you know Tom Sears? I don't know.
I heard of the name. I don't think.
Yeah, he doesn't do the Madden franchise, but he's from Boston too, so he's up there in your neck of the woods. I think Jeremy Brial, he's also from not from Boston, but he's from up there. He's up north somewhere. I ain't sure. I guess I'm up north too now since I moved from Georgia to Detroit, so I guess I'm a northerner now too.
Detroit, though.
Yeah, hey. Yep. I did it for love.
Nothing wrong with that. The plan is to move to New Hampshire eventually. I'm hoping by the end of this calendar year.
Yeah.
And same reason. I've been dating my girlfriend for the last... Oh, God, she's going to kill me. I know she's watching right now, and I can't think of how long. July 22, so however long that is.
So coming on 2 years.
Yeah, coming on 2 years, and we're just trying to find a place right now. It's just hard with prices and whatnot.
Oh yeah, the market's crazy right now. So, the earthquake today? Did you feel that, or was that too far away from you?
So funny enough, speaking of Michigan and Detroit, I have a friend in Nortonville I went to college with, and he texted me, "Hey, did you feel the earthquake?" I'm like, "What earthquake?" And he sent me the Weather Channel app got notification, 4.8 magnitude earthquake. I'm like, I didn't feel a fucking thing.
Well, we had a couple people. We had Thomas Andrews, who's he used to be an owner of ARCS, and he's TNT kind of head admin. He actually works in New York, and he's an accountant or something. But the building he works in, he's on the 48th floor, and he said when that earthquake hit, he thought it was the end for him, because the whole building started shaking. I think they said it was like a 5.3 on the Richter scale. Which, look, I've never experienced an earthquake in my life, so I have no idea. I don't know what a 5.3 earthquake feels like, but I can imagine it's probably pretty fucking scary, especially if you're working in the 48th floor of a fucking building. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going home. I've had enough.
I would be too, but no, like I said, like you said, I never felt an earthquake before in my life. Maybe if we lived in California, living on the the San Andreas Fault, yeah, maybe we'd feel something, or know, oh yeah, this is about a 2 or a 3, but
Yeah.
living in the Northeast my entire life, besides my college years, no, I don't know what a fucking earthquake feels like.
I don't either. I that's just wild that I mean in New York, like that's such a weird I mean, I know it wasn't like in New York, but it was around like the New York, New Jersey area.
I
Like
think the epicenter was like in New Jersey or something.
yeah, like to it's just crazy. Like what they're not supposed to have earthquakes there like that. Like you said, it's supposed to be in California. It's supposed to be like, you know, around the mountains, like not in New York. Like what the hell's going on?
So I actually have a question for you now. How long have you been living in Detroit?
So I moved here in September of 2023. Um, I lived in Georgia my whole life. I met my girlfriend, which most everyone that listens know. Her name's Kinsey. She raced with us on Xbox for a little bit. She has an iRacing account. I just can't get her to get the courage to race with all of us on iRacing, just because it's so damn competitive. I mean, she doesn't want to go out there and embarrass herself or embarrass me, so she wants to practice and get good. But we did do I'll never forget this when she came and visited me when I still lived in Georgia. We did an ARCS wives and girlfriends race where we had like 7 or 8 of us men that we let our girlfriends or wives sit in our rigs, and we set up a session on iRacing, and it was all them racing, and we were just watching. We were crew chiefing them. We were telling that, we were clicking tires off for them. We were adding fuel for them. It was probably the most fun I've had in a long time. And Kinsey won that race against 8 or 9. I think we had like 10 people total, where it was just wives and girlfriends racing, and she won that race, and I was so damn proud of her. I mean, that was so much fun. But yeah, I moved up here in September of 2023 last year. And it has been a transition from the Georgia weather to the Michigan weather. Holy shit, bro.
I was about to ask that, how do you adapt to the cold?
Oh my God. It was awful. It's fucking 10 degree. One day, no shit. I went to work. We went to work that day. Took my morning break at like 9:30. Went out to the car. I usually just sit in the car for my 30-minute break, and turned the car on. It was -3, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what the hell? So yeah, it has been crazy. We recently we went to Florida for vacation last week. When we left here, it was snowing and 29 degrees by the time we drove to Florida. So it was a damn 16-hour drive, I think, 16 or 17-hour drive. By the time we got to Florida, it was 83 degrees and sunny. And I'm like, this is awesome. I love it. But yeah, I'm really trying to adjust to the cold, but it's tough.
Don't worry, it's only 4 months out of the year, 5 at the max. Like it's April right now, and I just got snow.
Yeah, it was snowing today here in Michigan. It didn't, nothing stuck. It didn't stick to the ground, but it was snowing for like half the day, and I'm like, it's April 5th. Like, why is it snowing? Like, this is so stupid. Like,
we didn't have like anything like stuck to the road, but we got something like stuck to like the like the foliage and mulch and stuff like that. And I'm like,
yeah,
you couldn't do this like 2 months ago.
yeah. It was actually, from what everybody tells me, it was a mild winter here in Michigan, and I'm like, I don't want to see a non-mild because it was cold. I mean, it snowed probably 4 or 5 times where it was like 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. And I'm from Georgia. I haven't seen snow that stuck, more than an inch for probably 7, 8 years. And I come up here and it's just like, oh yeah, there's 4 inches of snow on the ground. And I'm, me being from Georgia, I'm like, okay, so we don't have to go to work. And they're like, no, yeah, you go to work.
Still going to work.
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you mean we go to work? And they're like, yeah, this isn't the South. We just keep driving. And I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, what the hell? We get an inch of snow in Georgia and the whole fucking state shut down. Like,
So it's funny, yes, you bring that up. Being around here, we have things called nor'easters where you get, a lot of wind, a lot of snow.
mm-hmm.
It's like a blizzard, our blizzard, so to speak. And, some are mild, 4 inches of snow, whatever. Some can be severe, up to a foot. And I moved to Ohio for college. The school shut down, and we had the day off of school for, I shit you not, 2 inches of snow.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, this is not normal.
Hey, got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
No, in Georgia, we'd get a ½ inch of snow, and it'd be like, all the bread and milk would be gone from all the grocery stores. It's like, what the hell are y'all doing? There's a ½ inch of snow on the ground. Like, man up and fucking, like, what the hell? What are y'all buying bread and milk for? Like, what?
The Ice Age, don't you know?
Apparently, if you're from Georgia and you see snow, you buy milk and bread. I don't know what you're going to... I guess you make a milk bread sandwich, but hell if I know. I don't know. I never understood that.
Same thing here, but only like bigger storms still be like, storming the local supermarket and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Smaller storms, they won't bother, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to the transition from Georgia to Michigan. I mean, it was definitely a shock for me because I've visited up north. I've went to Indiana because my mom's family was from Indiana, so we had gone to Indiana, but we would always go during the summertime. So it's like it wasn't snowing; it was like perfect weather. It was like 70 degrees and sunny. It was great, but yeah, this snow is too much. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of do you have any other questions for me?
Not that I could think of. Just, any other sports you're into besides racing, obviously.
Yeah, I love racing. Obviously, I'm a huge Ryan Blaney fan, as you can tell by my shirt, my flag, my hat. I mean, I've always loved Ryan Blaney. I was a huge Casey Kane fan before Ryan Blaney. I don't know. I loved Casey Kane. I don't know why. I think it was just, he was just calm. He didn't really get upset, and I liked Ryan Newman too. My dad was a huge Rusty Wallace fan, so same as you. My dad kind of got me into NASCAR with Rusty Wallace, and obviously Bill Elliott. Being from Dawsonville, Georgia, I always liked Bill Elliott. I like Chase Elliott too, but I love Ryan Blaney. I'm a Ford guy. Some people, like Chevrolet. Some people like Toyota. I'm a Ford guy. It is what it is. But I love college football. I know you said you're not a huge fan. I'm from literally 10 minutes from Athens, Georgia. So obviously the University of Georgia. We have had a really good run here the past 3 or 4 years in college football. So the University of Georgia has won, the the 2 national championships, and I feel like we're in a pretty good spot this year too. So I love college football just because I've been a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs, since I was 5 years old, and we were awful. We hadn't won a national championship since 1980, and then all of a sudden here we are, superstars, 1-2 in a row. I like NFL, but unfortunately the Falcons are ass, just absolute ass.
Maybe not this year.
Yeah, we've made some serious moves this year. I think Kirk Cousins is. I think he with the help that he has with Kyle Pitts and Drake London, and I think we might be competitive this year. And we're in the NFC, so the Saints are awful, the Bucks are awful, the Panthers are awful. I mean,
The Bucks are awful.
yeah, they're probably our biggest competitions, but the Saints and the Panthers. Well, the Saints are okay. Yeah. The Panthers, they're struggling. I mean, so it's almost like in our division, hell, you could win 6 games and be the lock for the division. I mean, that's wild to say, but it's kind of true.
It was wild for me to see last year as a Patriot fan.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I was born in '99. I was like, first 3 rings, I was way too young to remember, but 14, 16, 18, I was all there watching them. To be spoiled for 20 years and all of a sudden just decline at an exponential rate is, mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I mean, with Tom Brady leaving, and then Bill left, right? So
mutually departed.
Yeah, his ass got fired. Let's be real. No, he bought him. He bought him a beach house somewhere and said, "We'll see y'all later. I'm not doing this shit anymore."
But this season, especially just draft here in 3 weeks, I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have another losing season this year. I want to be hopeful, but something tells me we're gonna be mid.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the NFL, Patriots obviously spoiled for the last 20 years. Not big into basketball. Hockey, I'm big into. I remember, 2011 when the Bruins won, I stayed up for that Game 7. I was in middle school at the time, and it was like fucking 11 o'clock, and I stayed up because it was Game 7, and, to beat the Canucks 4-0 in Game 7 was a sight to see. Baseball, I'm kind of sort of getting back into. Red Sox are doing good so far, so yay.
Yeah.
5-2.
I'm kind of the same way. I'm not a huge basketball fan. I like college basketball, especially like March Madness, just because that I feel like everybody kind of watches March Madness. It's just everybody has a bracket. They're all, but hockey. I really wasn't into hockey because again, I grew up in Georgia. We had the Atlanta Thrashers there for a while, but then they moved to Canada or whatever, and so I never was a huge hockey fan. But since I moved here with the Red Wings, I mean, I actually went to a game where I work at. They gave us tickets, and so I went to a Red Wings game, and man, that was awesome. I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was so cool. I've never really been to a hockey game before, so to go and watch that, it was really cool. And baseball, I mean, hell, the Detroit Tigers are like, I think they're 5-0 right now. I'm like, what the hell?
Not to piss on your parade, but they will finish last in that division.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, I'm a Braves fan. I mean, that's where I grew up. That Atlanta Braves, that's my team when it comes to baseball, and they've had some success, obviously, in the past couple of years, and they look pretty good this year. We'll see what happens, but I like baseball just because I was never good enough to play baseball. I played basketball in high school. I was not good by any means, but, I like to play basketball. But when it comes to watching basketball, Georgia Bulldogs, they're awful when it comes to basketball, so I don't have a whole lot to cheer for. The Atlanta Hawks, they're awful, and the Detroit Pistons are the worst team in the fucking NBA right now. So I mean, what are they, like 2-37 or something? Like it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's bad, but I have gotten into hockey though. I was never a huge fan of hockey, but like I said, when I moved up here and went to that game and I kind of started watching a little bit, and I enjoy it. It's different. I don't know the rules by any means. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I like watching it.
It's definitely, one of my favorites. I guess even today, a few years ago, maybe 10, it was a different game. Maybe even 10 years ago, but even today, it's still a high scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, so in maybe the 70s and 80s, it was definitely a high scoring game. They had different goalie equipment, different goalie, techniques. So it was definitely like high scoring games. But as equipment and goalies evolved, it's become lower and lower. But now I think it's back on a rise, surprisingly, which is wild. But I'm not complaining.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I mean, sports overall, I just like competitive things, racing, sports, whether it's basketball, football. I just like competition, I mean, and I feel like anybody that does iRacing for fun, we all love competition, or we wouldn't do it,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what keeps us going. Even though I show up to a race and I know for a fact I'm going to finish 25th in this race, but I still run it just in case those other 24 cars crash out or run out of fuel or something. I might win this son of a bitch, but it's just the competitive nature in us all. We want to go out there and win, and if we don't win, we're going to do everything we can to try and finish as best as we can.
And after that, do the same thing next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you keep showing up, and next thing you know, you look at the points, and you're, 5th or 6th in points, and you're like, well, damn, maybe I'm doing something right. Or maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah. I was doing something right 2 seasons ago in HCL. Now look at me. Washed.
Hey, look, if it's like ARCS. I mean, when we ran on Xbox, I was very competitive. But we only had 15, 16 people show up, for a race. If that. I mean, that was max. 16 people would be a full house. And then as we moved to iRacing, and we started inviting, new people came in and they were fast. And then new people came in and they were even faster. And new people came in and they were even faster than that person. All of a sudden, I was competing for wins. Now I'm competing for, I mean, no shit. I'm happy to finish 20th, in an A squared race. And it's like, that is wild. Like there's so much talent out there, and I try and practice best I can. Again, I work, I have a personal life, so I can't practice a whole lot. But even if I do practice, it doesn't really help. Like it might make me finish 20th to 17th, and it's like, hell yeah, I spent 10 hours practicing and I gained 3 positions. Like, well, what the fuck?
Like I said, the practice session in the race lobby, that's my practice session. in the race, I improvise the best I can. I'll try the strategy. Oh shit, that didn't work on this stop. Let me try it on the next. Let me try something different on the next stop.
Yeah.
But if I get a top 10 in a race, I expected to finish outside the top 15. I take that. If I finished the race I wasn't expecting to finish, I take that.
I'm the same way. No, look, I'm one of the best, at least in ARCS. Me, Thomas Andrews, Tom Sears, saving fuel, saving tires. I can save fuel and save tires very, very well. I've gotten a couple wins, a couple second place finishes off just pure strategy, and that's a skill. I mean, some people are just balls to the wall, wide open the entire race, and some people, me, that's what I do. I do strategy. I mean, as soon as the race start, before the race starts, I know how many laps I can go on fuel, how many laps the race is. So if it goes green, I know if I can stretch it to maybe only make it a one-stop race versus a two-stop race. I mean, that's how I get a lot of my good finishes is on strategy, not speed. Because I know up front I am not a good race car driver, but strategy-wise, I can hang in there with some of the best, but not all of them.
There's definitely a few drivers in HTL that just wax the field, and thankfully this year some of them are on my team. So that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best problem to have.
But in that same breath, to have those people on my team and hopefully to learn from them, is just a blessing.
Oh, for sure.
Just to say, hey, I'm doing X, Y, Z. What if I did A, B, C, and then they tell me to do D, E, F.
Yeah.
So.
No, for sure. I mean it, and I've had teammates before where, they tell me, hey, I my steering pinion or my steering ratio, I put it at this, and my brake bias, I put it here. My steering offset, I'm here. And I would try that, and I would hate it. I couldn't do it, and so I would have to go back to what I was doing because I couldn't drive that. But then I've had other teammates where they were like, hey, yeah, I did this with my steering ratio or pinion, depending on what car you're driving. And I did this with the brakes, the brake bias, and the next gen car has the fucking master cylinders. I fucking hate that shit. God. But they'll be like, yeah, I put my front master cylinder to 1 inch, and I put my rear to 5/16, and I would try that, and I'd be like, damn, yeah, this feels really good. It's just crazy how different driving styles affect, even when we run fixed setup races where really that's all you can change is your steering pinion, your brake, your cylinders, your brake bias, offset, just those little adjustments. It's like, holy shit, I just gained 2/10 off.
It's night and day difference.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, most people coming in that maybe not, maybe they don't know a whole lot, or they're new to iRacing or new to league racing. You think, oh, well, you can't really change anything, so everybody should be the same. Bullshit. Like, some people make those adjustments to their steering pinion and their offsets and their master cylinders, and they're fucking hauling ass. And it's like, how do y'all do that? Like,
it's insane. Like, you figure that, like, like a play track like Daytona or Talladega, you'd want your pinion to be, long arcs,
Mm-hmm.
But one of my drivers, he the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I want the highest ratio I can get, or I guess the smallest ratio. I guess it's backwards in the pinion world. But yeah, I tried that once and it was like, holy Jesus Christ.
Oh,
How the fuck do you drive like this?
yeah. I had one guy one time told me at Daytona, he was like, try this. And it was bass backwards from what I normally do. So I tried it and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll try it. And I got out there and I hit turn one in a practice and I turned the damn wheel how I normally turn it, which I usually like a tight steering pinion, at super speedways, as I think most people do. So when you turn that steering wheel, you only have to turn it, like this. And when he was telling me, yeah, try this, it's super fast. Hell, I was damn sawing on that thing going into turn one, at Daytona. I'm like, hell no, I ain't doing this. This is stupid. I don't need to turn the wheel 90 degrees to get into Daytona. Like, I'm out.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I'm trying to think of anything else I have. I think we had a pretty good episode, buddy. I know you gotta work tomorrow. I think I have to work tomorrow. So
Oops.
yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like Saturdays are optional for me, so I can go into work if I want to, but I don't have to. One of those bullshit things. But hell, money's money, so might as well go in and make some extra money.
I'm scheduled every other Saturday, so like 1 week I'll be Monday through Friday. The next week I'll have Thursday off. That's my scheduled day off. Then I'll work Saturday. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I have a set schedule. It's just I wish I had a Monday through Friday, but
hmm
it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm a little lucky. I have Monday through Friday, and then Saturday's kind of like optional, so I don't have to work. But if I want the hours and want the extra money, I can go in. So we'll see how I feel in the morning at 6 a.m. and then that'll determine if I go in or not. So, but appreciate you coming out. Had a lot of fun talking to you. I don't really know you that well, and I'm sure a lot of people in ARCS probably don't know you that well. So it's good to get to know you. That's why I started this podcast. I mean, some people I talk to, I've talked to my cousin, I've talked to some people that I've known for 4+ years almost now at this point, but it's always fun to get to know people that I don't know that well. And we've talked in voice chats a lot and never really got to sit down and talk to you one-on-one. So appreciate you coming out. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast. The last I don't even know how long it's been, but no, I've had a blast. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, yeah. We went almost an hour and a half. So I always get nervous. I really do, especially with people that I don't know. So I always think that 10 minutes in that we'll both just kind of look at each other and be like, all right, well, all right, 15 minutes in, we're done. I'm like, I always worry about that. I get a little anxious about that, but yeah, we had a good podcast, and this thing's been really successful so far, and appreciate you for coming out, and hopefully I'll see you on track, whether it be in HTL or in ARCS. I know you got a big team in HTL this year, so
Yes, I do.
I'll be listening to you on the radio, because I know you voice your opinions over race comms sometimes, which is I'm all for it. I do it too. So I appreciate you coming out, man. This is episode 12. Crazy that we've already done 12 of these, but thank you for coming out. I know you were a little anxious. Trust me, I get anxious about them too, but we had a good episode, and I'll let you exit out of the Discord. But again, thank you for coming out. I had a blast talking to you, and we're getting close to the point where we'll start having some duplicate episodes, and I'd love to have you on again.
Please, just let me know and I'll be back. I'll be happy to be back.
Absolutely. Hopefully I'll meet you in the Super Bowl here pretty soon on our Madden franchise, and maybe I can redeem myself.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. See you, buddy.
See you.
All right. That was Mr. Kevin Gibney Jr. there for episode number 12. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I know it was a late night. We had a great broadcast for the ARCS Racing Experience, and that was a really good podcast. Thanks to Kevin Gibney Jr. He was really good to talk to him. Don't really know him well, so it's really cool to get to know him. That's kind of what this podcast is all about. I love talking to people that I know, but I also enjoy talking to people that I don't know that well. So, this is pretty cool. I would like to maybe start up another podcast, just kind of reviewing ARCS results for the week. So we may look into doing that. Probably do it on a Monday night, kind of reviewing the week prior. But appreciate y'all coming out. I'm going to go to bed. Maybe try and get up and go to work in the morning. Maybe not. We'll see. But thank y'all for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next Friday. ARCS Racing Experience from Iowa. And then after that, we'll have Briley Wright on the podcast. That'll be a good episode. I love talking to Briley. And I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about. So till we see y'all again, make sure you stay on that loud pedal.
Welcome to ARCS, Behind the Driver Podcast.